sports leader in the Inland Empire. Fox Sports IE 1350.
You and me, we're gonna have a fight today after school. 3 o'clock in the parking lot. You try and run. I keep telling you. You go to a teacher.
Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. Sports in the Inland Empire. Now, here are your hosts, Beth Fernandez and Jeff Cora.
Welcome to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. It's a Tuesday. We're proud to be here. We got Brewers, we got Braves, and we always get it right on your favorite show here on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. That's Jeff Gorham. That's Greg Holla. I'm just Pep Fernandez. And we're brought to you by every single day on the Inland Sports Show. Spoiled quick quality oil change. You can spoil yourself and your car every 5,000 miles. It doesn't matter. Every 3 months, just hop in there, get the oil change like Greg Holla. So you can cruise around the IE feeling good about yourself and your car and your entire life if you go to Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. I am fired up. It's Tuesday. It's going to be the best Tuesday ever. Is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
It is Tuesday. Come on, Jeff. Bring some heat.
Hey, you said the Brewers. Are there going to be guys coming in talking about yeast hops and that liquid gold beer?
Sam Adams.
Sam Adams. Are we going to have beer in studio today?
Because that's a real science, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like when the brew masters or whatever they call
Oh,
it.
yeah. You know what they have now? You know that you have the Keurig, the Nespresso. You have the coffee machines, right?
Yeah, I'm fancy. I got one
Okay,
of those.
I have the
Yeah.
Nespresso because I'm a little more fancy than you because I am Rich Jeff and I am a lot like George Clooney. George Clooney owns Nespresso.
What else?
Who owns?
Isn't that what they say? What else?
Yeah, who owns Keurig?
Who owns it?
Yeah, it's not George Clooney, is it?
No, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
you don't have a clue, buddy. All I know is I have an espresso, and I have George Clooney on my side. And what Brewers are coming in here today to talk about beer?
Well, it's not beer, Jeff.
What the
The
hell?
Milwaukee Brewers, and a big shout out to Bryce Terang from Santiago. A first-round draft pick of the Milwaukee Brewers, 21st overall in the 2018 Major League Baseball draft. So I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's like $3 million. Is that right? I mean, for Bryce Terang, a high school kid, instant millionaire.
Oh, I have it in front of me. It's over $3 million. And here's the deal. The very first draft pick in Brewers franchise history was also a shortstop. Granted, it was Gorman Thomas, and he would actually make his major league mark as an outfielder. But think of the great players that the Brewers have had at shortstop. Robin Yount.
Yeah, Robin Yount was a shortstop for a while.
Paul Molitor.
Yeah.
Dale
Stim.
Svim, and Gary Sheffield and Bill Spires all were drafted as shortstops and rose to the major league studs. So can we see Bryce Terang be that next Robin Yount or Paul Molitor?
You know what? He had a great high school career. And if you asked him, and we're trying to get him on the show, according to his high school coach, his agent's being a little weird about doing interviews. But if we can get him on the show, he had a great high school career. But I think he'd be the first to tell you his senior year, at least stat-wise, wasn't as good as his freshman, sophomore, and junior years. But it was still a great year by any standard. Still a great year. He played for Team USA. He wore the red, white, and blue. This guy, people have been talking about this guy for a long, long time. We knew he was going to be a first-round draft pick. In fact, some people were saying maybe one of the first picks, maybe the top pick, but still 21st overall in the first round. Huge payday. I don't know what the window is. They usually have about a month or two to actually sign the contract. He does have a scholarship to Louisiana State LSU. But come on, if you're making over $3 million on that signing bonus, if you're a first rounder, you gotta follow that money.
You do, and I'll tell you what. Here's what's really, really funny is, his father, Brian Terang, was also a draft pick of the Milwaukee Brewers back in 1987.
So it's all in the family.
All in the family. He was drafted in the 20th round in 1987, but he went on to play in the majors with the Mariners, but he was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers.
So he's going to be driving a good car, Pep?
Good car. Fancy car. He's going to take it straight to Spoiled. Keep it going strong when he cruises around the IE.
So only one of two guys to really have a father-son drafted by the same team.
Only one of two?
Only one of two. Who is the other
Was it the Griffies?
The Griffies.
Was it really?
Yeah, remember,
They're the only two,
They're
the
the
Tarangs
only-
and the Griffies?
the Tarangs and the Griffies. So
Wow.
pretty. Oh, I'm sorry. There is a third.
Oh,
There is Vladimir Guerrero and Vladimir Guerrero
were they
Jr.
both drafted by?
They were both drafted by it. Oh,
I say because he was an Expo.
Expo, and then he's a Blue Jay, so never mind. But close enough. Above, they were beyond the border, so
All right. Also, we had another one go today.
we did.
To the Braves. Stanford pitcher. He's also Mr. Corona. Corona High School star Tristan Beck going to the Atlanta Braves in the 4th round. Jeff, we love to look at the money that's slotted because that's where they project where the money would be at. What was it, over 300,000?
Yes.
Or 400,000?
No, he's making $500,000, Pep.
Not too bad. A
No.
4th round pick by the Atlanta Braves. Tristan Beck, he was in this very studio playing his saxophone. Not well, but he was.
He was
And he was playing that saxophone, Mr. Corona. He's going to join us live coming up at 3:30 on the show. He's up there in Stanford, but now he's an Atlanta Brave, and we're excited for him. We're also going to be keeping tabs on the Cal Baptist guys, the UC Riverside guys. There's several that could have their names selected. In fact, the draft for today, because it spans 3 days, it's almost over for today. They're going to go to the 10th round, and then that's going to be it for today. And I'm looking at the 10th round right now, and I don't see any other locals at this point, but we'll keep tabs on it as the 10th round is going to round out. And then tomorrow, Jeff, that's when it gets nuts. Rounds 11 through 40. And picks are just coming right, left. Like it's rapid fire. So that's where you really got to keep your eyeballs on it. But we're almost done for today.
Yeah, and then you get to those later rounds. That's when the really big decisions come for these young men. Because do you go to college or do you stay in college? Do you go to college or do you take a little bit of money you can get and go to the pros and give it to basically roll the dice?
Yeah, we're talking millions of dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, it's like, man, I'm just going to have to do it. I'm going to turn pro. I can always go back and get my degree if I really want it. But if it's like, oh, $20,000 or go to college, a college education is worth what, $200,000?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money when you boil it down to how much it costs to go to college. So, yeah, those are big decisions. So a lot of these guys will have to make that going forward. I mean, let's say you're a SoCal guy from the IE and you're a huge Angels fan. Let's say the Angels draft you in the 30th round.
Then I go because I love the Halos, baby.
I mean, that could be a factor, right? You know, if you're a Halos guy, maybe your dad grew up cheering for the Halos, taking you to Angels games all your life. Or Dodgers, maybe you grew up in Colton. You're a Yellow Jacket. You get drafted. You love the Dodgers, and the Dodgers take you in the 39th round, signing bonus of, let's say, $25,000.
See, that's where it gets dicey. That's as a player, you go, well, do I go? There we go, Colton. Or do we take
For you,
the
Hub City.
money? Do you go to college and get that education and then try it again in 3 years like a lot of other guys do?
Yeah, like Tristan Beck, when we have him on the show, I'll have to look up his profile, but he was drafted before. And I want to say it was by the Yankees, and it was definitely in the later rounds. So now look at him now. He's a 4th-round draft pick. So obviously his stock went considerably up by going to Stanford. And obviously it's Stanford. I don't know how close he is to graduation. He might be graduating.
He actually was selected in the 34th round of the 2015 draft by the Brewers.
By the Brewers.
Yeah.
The Brewers like the IE, I guess.
Yeah, so he decided, hey, and I'll tell you what, had a great career with the men of Stanford.
Yeah, and he went to Stanford, like a Stanford education. On top of everything else, he went from a 34th round pick to a 4th round pick. That's a lot of money. That's a huge difference in money.
Yeah, and he's going to get his degree. The smart guy's going to say, hey, I'm going to play baseball. I'm going to finish my degree at Stanford. I'm going to be able to do anything I want outside of baseball. The guy's got it made.
All right, so we'll talk more Major League Baseball draft throughout the show. We'll be keeping eyes on that one. And also, again, Tristan Beck coming up at 3:30. We're also going to have Norco High School softball coach Rick Robinson. He's going to check in at 4 o'clock as the Cougars are coming off their 5th CIF Southern Section title in Division I. On Saturday night, it was 8-2 against Gar. So coach is going to check in with us and talk about, man, this dynasty they have out there in Horsetown, USA. On the ice, it's game 5 between Washington and Las Vegas. And this could be closing time. Washington is up 3-1 now after beating Las Vegas last night. So when game 5 rolls around, the Capitals have a chance to close out this Cinderella story of Las Vegas. It's been fun to watch, Jeff. If you remember the Golden Knights, They swept the Kings in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, they started off like gangbusters. I think the Kings only had like 1 goal in 4 games. They started off so great. But oh no, it's unraveled quickly against Washington with the Capitals taking Game 4 last night. So Game 5 could be it. Washington up 3-1 in the series.
Yeah, in fact, think about it this way. They won that first game at home. Everything looked bright. They hadn't lost 2 games in a row since the first month of the season. And then they go and they've lost 3 in a row. They're going to have to win 3 in a row in order to get Lord Stanley's Cup.
They can do it. It would just go back into the fold of this Cinderella story about this team that's never give up, never surrender.
But for the Capitals, this could be their first Stanley's Cup, too, as well. So both teams playing for something big. And think of it this way. The Capitals have been so close so many times, but have just never kind of climbed that hump. They are the Buffalo Bills.
Wow, Bills.
Yeah, they've been to the finals a few times, been to the conference finals many times, but come up short.
All right, so that's Stanley Cup Finals. NBA Finals, no hoops tonight. Game 3 is Wednesday night in the land, as they call it out there. Golden State up 2-0. Jeff, we'll talk about the NBA Finals later in the show, but I guess the big talk today is, LeBron James, is he not a good leader? There's video angles from Game 1 when J.R. Smith made that huge brain fart, and he was dejected. LeBron James was dejected on the bench and not part of the huddle. I got to be honest, I'm not a LeBron guy, but I don't blame him.
No!
I'd be like, dude, I am done with you guys.
Have you watched the video? I watched it today in its entirety, and he just sat there. Nobody talked.
You know what? I felt bad for him. I'm like, dude, I get it. I feel bad for you, LeBron. I get it.
But J.R. Smith's 2 seats down, and J.R. Smith's trying to slap guys 5. Nobody's looking at him. The coaching staff behind the bench, they look disgusted. They look pissed, and every right to be, because I'll tell you, they gave that game away. They could very easily be 1-1 going into this thing with 2 at home with a nice, sizable advantage. Not anymore.
And LeBron's mad at the coach, too, Tyronn Lue, because they did have a timeout. The extra angles of video show LeBron saying, did we not have a timeout? He's like, no, we had a timeout.
Didn't call.
Come on, call the timeout. Set up a playlist. Give us a chance to win it. Because I think LeBron knew if this game gets to overtime, it's done. Golden State's going to win this. He was tired. He was done. The momentum was on Golden State's side. It was over if it went to OT. And it certainly was. I mean, they blew them out in that overtime period.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if you're Ty Lue, man, remember he's already talked about he's had anxiety issues coaching LeBron this season. I wonder how he's feeling right now.
Do you think those anxiety issues come from coaching LeBron?
Of course they do, because you have to coach the guys a certain way. You can't just go yell, hey, LeBron James, stop doing this, because what you're going to get is an earful, because LeBron James is the alpha dog, not just with the team, not with just the coaching staff, but he's holding the entire franchise basically hostage and ransom, because he's going to get exactly what he wants. He talks to Dan Gilbert like he's a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
He signs his checks, for God's sakes. They refuse.
LeBron calls the shots.
Yeah, he calls everything. He runs that entire franchise, and he has everybody by the short hairs.
Do you think there's pressure coaching the Sacramento Kings? None.
No.
No pressure.
No.
There's no superstars. There's no expectations. But if you're Tyronn Lue, you can do whatever. Pick-up games with the Kings.
They should have a player coach for the Kings.
But if you're Tyronn Lue, you're like, oh man, I can't screw this up. I got the best player on the planet, one of the greatest of all time, easily top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I better not screw this up, and he's screwing it up.
Remember, they had the guy. Remember when he came back, when LeBron James left Miami and came back to Cleveland, they had the Russian guy. Who was the Russian national coach.
Was it David Blatt?
David Blatt.
Was it Blatt?
Yes, was the Russian national coach, and they touted this guy. He's LeBron's handpicked guy. Handpicked.
He's gone.
He's gone. Then, of course, Mike Brown. Remember, Mike Brown was annexed out of Cleveland.
Yeah, after that great Laker run.
Yeah. Gone.
Okay, so NBA Finals Game 3, that is tomorrow night. So no hoops tonight, no hockey either. It's a quiet night. We can follow the Major League Baseball draft. The Dodgers, they're back in action at the Pirates. In fact, we're going to see their lineup soon. Being an East Coast game, they'll put that roster out, the batting order, and we'll break that down. The Halos, big win last night against the Royals, 9-6. They used a 3-run 8th inning to put 3 on KC and get that win last night. The Halos had 14 hits in the game. Mike Trout, Justin Upton, they each had 3 apiece, including Mike Trout. He had that go-ahead single. the RBI base knock in the 8th to give the Halos the lead for good. These are games you're supposed to win, Jeff. Like, when you look at the Halos schedule, when you play a team that's inferior like Kansas City and you're home, those are all the games that you're supposed to win. The difference in being a playoff team and not is now going up, like, let's say, on the road and beating those other teams that are contending for the playoffs. Kansas City at home, those are games you're supposed to win. And it's good to see the Angels finding a way in the late innings with the bats to get that job done.
Well, you remember the Angels won their first 6 series of the season. They had that slump that kind of dropped them. They're down 5 games. But last night, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters from the Angels, like you said, Mike Trout, Justin Upton, and Albert Pujols, combined for 8 hits, 3 walks, and 6 RBIs. And remember this, Pujols hit his 623rd career home run. He is within 7 of the great Ken Griffey Jr. for 6th on that all-time list. That is a great, potent offense. But I'll tell you what, the Angels' defense, the starting rotation, that is what's going to hurt them and possibly keep them out of the playoffs. And they need something to fix it because they've got a great offense, as we've seen.
And Trevor Oakes for the Royals, Riverside guy, did not pitch last night, in case you're wondering. All right, the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods. More than 40 years in the Inland Empire, bringing you all of your sporting gear needs. And Letterman's Jackets. They can do team sales as well. So if you need a football helmet, baseball mitts, and cleats for your big soccer game, you can do it all at Ken Sporting Goods out there in Horsetown, USA. It's right off the 15 in Norco, or visit them online at kensportinggoods.com. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we're going to hit the diamond with Tristan Beck, saxophone player and pitcher from Stanford, now the newest member of the Atlanta Braves. We'll be back at your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show, on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They driving in, done, out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We're a small family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajelco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the Crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
How you guys doing today? Coach Ray here from Boost Training. We're here today at the Boost Performance Center with the one and only Pep Fernandez. Today's Boost Training tip is all about strength. And of course, it's very specific to speed. We're talking about the single leg supported low squat. Come check it out. So when it comes to athletic performance, and more specifically speed, it's all about the ability to generate force, all about being nice and strong. Now, running is a single leg motion. So it makes sense that you have to have a great foundation of strength. You gotta have single leg strength. So this exercise really works on that single leg strength here with a deep bend in the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So what Mike is gonna do is gonna have an open hand grip, all right? The rack. He's gonna be doing this, he's gonna have his right foot on the ground. He's gonna flex his left knee, all right? He's gonna lower himself nice and easy. He's gonna tap that left knee on the ground and then come up. Now go ahead and do a couple reps here, Micah. All right, so what we want here is we really want to emphasize pushing that left foot in the ground, that right foot in the ground and not pulling himself up, which is why we have the open hand grip. And as I mentioned before, really getting that deep bend in the ankles, the knees, and the hips, just as if we were sprinting. So if you're not doing this exercise, you really want to add it to your repertoire because it's a great drill for building speed and generating force. We do it right here at Boost.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. This segment's brought to you by Boost Performance Training in Corona with Coach Ray Bass. BoostTrainingSystems.com is the website. From lacrosse, golf, football, everything in between. Go to Boost Performance Training. Be stronger, be faster. Right now, we got to go to the Celebrity Hotline. He's a friend of the show, and man, is he good on the saxophone and on the mound. It's Tristan Beck, Corona High School and Stanford star, the newest member of the Atlanta Braves. He was drafted today. Tristan, how are you doing?
I'm great, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me on again.
You are a pro baseball player. How does that feel?
Oh, man, it feels great. You know, it was a long time coming, obviously all the way back from high school when it first was a possibility for me. And after 3 great years at Stanford, I'm excited to finally get out there and get started on my journey.
Yeah, we were looking up the Tristan Beck profile because I told Jeff over here, I'm like, you know what? He was drafted before 3 times.
3 times.
3 times, not even once.
3 times you've been drafted.
But this is it, right? This is the real deal. You're going to sign and you're going to go pro.
Absolutely. Yep. In the past years, I've told the teams that for whatever reason or other, I wouldn't be going out in the draft. I'd be coming back to Stanford. But, this year was the year that, I made it clear that I was, available, ready to go, and that when I signed and got drafted, I was going to go out there and be ready to play for that team. So this is the real deal this time around.
Well, Tristan, walk us through this process because, you've had a great career so far with the Stanford Cardinal, and I'm sure there was a lot of Major League Baseball teams that were showing interest. But the Atlanta Braves, did you know you were on the Braves' radar? Have they reached out to you? Were they at games? Or was this kind of a surprise to see Atlanta in the 4th round?
Yeah, it was a crazy couple days. The draft started actually last night at around 4 p.m. and the first 2 rounds went down. And there were talks that I would maybe get selected last night, and just the way the draft went, it didn't end up happening. But I was kind of in conversations with teams all night and early this morning. And, the way it went down, the Braves ended up calling me and saying, Tristan, we have this pick coming up, and, we really want to take you. Do you think we could come to an agreement? I told them, yeah, the Braves have been a team that I've been in talks with every year. Out of high school, they were a top team that was interested in me. And so it's pretty awesome that it's been able to come full circle since my senior year. I'm so excited that it's the Braves that I get to go out and start my career with.
So, Tristan, who are the other 2 teams that had previously drafted you, and were they still showing interest at this point?
Yeah, so out of high school, I was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers pretty late in the draft. And then last year, I was drafted by the New York Yankees. And both teams, actually, I talked to quite a bit this year. And you know what, just the way it worked out, and, with other players coming off the board, it didn't end up working out with either of them. But, luckily for me, the Braves stepped up and gave me that call I've been waiting to hear. So it just worked out great.
Now, Tristan, how is your arm feeling? You pitched 90 innings this year. Basically doubled everybody on your team. You had an 8-4 record. How's the arm feeling? How are you feeling getting ready for this?
I'm feeling great. Unfortunately, our season got cut short by about 3 weeks. But I felt like I got stronger as the season went on, and that last start I went out there and gave it everything I had. And I was ready for an extra couple weeks. Things didn't go our way, but man, I felt I was ready to go physically, mentally, all the above, and I'm ready to get out there and get started.
Hey, Tristan, I'm just curious, how close are you to graduation? Because, Jeff and I were talking about how, awesome a pro baseball career would be, but let's not lose the fact you're going to Stanford, one of the most prestigious universities out there. I mean, are you close to your degree, and are you still going to finish?
Yeah, no, I am. Actually, Stanford baseball for many years under Coach Marquez, who this is our first year without him at the helm, but, he instilled in the program a real a culture of getting ahead in school, trying to reduce the amount of units, get ahead so you're close to graduation when a lot of people go after junior year. So I'm in a situation where I only have 1 quarter left, and I'll hopefully be able to finish that up this coming fall, with no baseball going on the pro side, and, be ready to graduate after that. So, it's been great, and I'm so thankful that I've gotten to spend 3 years at such a great university, and, I'm going to walk away with my degree, which I'm really proud of.
Now, what was it like playing with your little brother this year? I mean, there aren't too many guys that can say, hey, I'm playing Pac-12 baseball. I'm pitching. I'm leading the team as a pitcher, and my younger brother's an infielder and a pitcher as well. What was that like this year?
Oh, man, it was awesome. You guys knew us back in high school. We had 2 years of that back in high school as well. So we had most of the kinks were ironed out. But I'll tell you what, man, I really wasn't ready for him to step in and just put up way better numbers than me. If you look, you just straight down the numbers, the kid had a better ERA, gave him fewer hits. I think I took the strikeout total, but that's about the only place I actually beat him in. And while that was a bit tough to swallow at first, he went out there and just absolutely killed it this year. I think he was like 8-0, something like that on the mound. And I think we had high hopes for him, but man, he sure exceeded expectations in that aspect. Man, I'm excited to see what he does with the rest of his career at Stanford.
Hey, but now you finally get away from him for a little bit. From Corona to Stanford, he was on your coattails everywhere. Now you get to go to the Atlanta Braves organization. You get to kind of shake him off a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. That might be the next step for him. Who knows?
Now, did you guys ever get any fist fights in practice? Like everybody stops and goes, there's
the Beck boys. There they go again.
The Becks are fighting.
Yeah, luckily we tried to keep most of our stuff either in the clubhouse or out in the dorms. We tried not to bring any of it on the field. So we have a great relationship. And actually, in 2 games this year, he actually got to come into the same game that I started up at Washington in the last weekend of the regular season. He actually directly relieved me. And we actually threw the entirety of the game. And then the first game of this regional this past weekend at Stanford, I started the game and ended up going 13 innings, and he came in and actually stole that win out for us. So, those are 2 pretty special moments as well, being out there.
Now, when he walks up to the mound and you're standing there, does he look at you and go, does he say, give me the damn ball, get off the mound?
Yeah, there's a reason I'm coming out of the game in those situations. It's somebody better to come in and do it, So he had all the confidence in the world when he took the ball from me.
We're talking with Tristan Beck, former Corona High School and Stanford pitcher, drafted by the Atlanta Braves in the 4th round today. Tristan, where were you when you got the call? I don't know if you've got an agent or who contacted you, if you're watching the draft online. I mean, how did this all kind of go down today?
Oh man, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I was in my dorm room. I had a 6-page paper due at noon today, and I woke up this morning not having a single word down.
Ooh.
So I was churning out words as fast as I could, and my girlfriend. I was in my room, and my girlfriend and my brother, and we were sitting in the room. They had the live draft going, and I would step out every once in a while to take a phone call, but. At some point, I just kind of looked down, and I saw the call coming in, so I answered it, just said, hey, we're going to select you with this pick coming up, and, get ready for it. We're excited to have you. And, if I close the laptop for my paper, I closed it for about 15 minutes, Enjoyed the moment, but I had to get right back to it.
See, you know what you're supposed to do in those situations? You just get drafted. What class was it, by the way?
It was a class called The Politics of Algorithms, and I was writing a paper talking about the nuances of using face recognition technology in police forces.
Well, this is what you should have done, because that sounds way too complicated. You look in the mirror and you say, "I'm getting an incomplete," and then you go over to you go to Ralph's and you buy a gift card, and then you give it to your teacher and said, "Look, I just got drafted. I probably would have got an A or a B. Just give me a C, and here's a gift card."
Call it even.
I'll tell you, I ran through every possible scenario where I could see myself hopefully getting an extension. But, I figured that the teacher had given us long enough to write the damn paper. It was pretty bad, and I waited until the last 3 hours before it was due. So, I kind of dug myself a hole I couldn't get out of, so I just had to work my way out.
Well, Tristan, you said, you said the paper was due at noon today, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You said the paper was due at noon today?
It was due at noon today. I actually went into class 10 minutes late, but I don't think they marked me down.
Because I was following the draft online, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Atlanta took you probably right around noon as well. Did this all kind of happen in the same little time window?
Yeah, it actually did. I was 1,000 words under my limit. It was 11:15, and that's when it all started going down. And I got drafted. But then, of course, I'm getting calls. People are texting me. So many people just reaching out and showing me love, which is so great. And I took some time to respond to quite a few people, but at some point I had to turn the phone off, and I killed about 20 minutes just breathing in the moment.
Okay,
I got back to it right after that.
Okay, I know this happened last night today. I know it has, because I actually played basketball for a living, and I always thought this. What is the first thing in your head you were thinking, I'm going to go out and buy something? I know you thought of it. What are you going to go out and buy? Don't give me the BS answer.
I actually haven't thought about it. One of the biggest things I've been waiting for, actually, is Stanford. We won the Pac-12 this year, and that means that we get to select the Pac-12 gift, from this big fancy website. Man, they haven't sent us that dang link yet. I've been waiting to get my link in the mail. That's all I've been thinking about. And we won the Pac-12, and I want my gift. So I've just been waiting for that. I don't know. That's just all signing bonus stuff.
Just know this. I bet the girlfriend knows what she wants.
Yeah, I will probably end up going out to a real nice dinner.
That's right.
My family.
Well, he can throw a mean fastball, and he plays a mean saxophone, and he did it right here in our studio. It's the great Tristan Beck, newest member of the Atlanta Braves. Hey, Tristan, congratulations. Hey, and again, thank you for always making time for us. We do appreciate it. And, yeah, live it up. The paper's done, and you were drafted all on the same day. That's got to be a great feeling.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's been awesome spending the last 4 years touching in with you guys. You guys run a great show over there, so thank you.
All right, don't big-time us when we call you again.
No.
When you're pitching for the Braves.
Oh, well, absolutely not. Always make time.
All right, thanks, Tristan.
Thanks.
All right, see it. That was the great Tristan Beck, Corona High School, Stanford pitcher, one of our favorites on the show. I think, though, he kind of embellished how good he was on the saxophone. Because remember when we brought him in, it was around Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we have him try to play like Jingle Bells or something? And
Yes. Did his brother come in with him, too?
yeah, I think Brendan was here, too. Like, yeah, it was a little suspect.
Yeah, but it was funny as heck. We put him on the spot. At least he tried.
He was a good sport.
Oh.
But he's like, oh, yeah, saxophone. And then, hey, could he play it? Yeah, he could play it. But I wouldn't say he played a mean saxophone.
He played like a sixth grader at a at a recital for his class. But no, he was, what a good dude. Funny guy.
Yeah, you're right. He might not know what he's going to buy with that first paycheck. But his girlfriend does.
Of course she does.
She's like,
They're going to walk around a mall. There's going to be lots of shiny things and diamonds everywhere. I hope he's serious with her. If not, he might as well dump her and get a new one because I say, yeah, he's a pro baseball player. That's what you do is you walk into bars and you say, like I used to as a guy. You know,
what would you used to do, Jeff?
I'd walk in and I was a tall, lanky guy. And my buddies and I, we'd walk in. Hey, I'm a pitcher. I'm a left-hander for the Angels. Or I'm a left-hander for the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm in town. And the girl's big, really? I go, yeah, look at these calluses on my fingers. I throw really hard. Like, yeah, wow. Luckily, I was playing basketball, but I wasn't that good.
Is this Tristan Beck playing right now?
This is.
I think this is Tristan Beck.
Yeah, I don't think so. This is like Yanni or somebody.
Man, that Tristan, he's wailing back there on that saxophone.
Not only can he throw, hey, his brother was 8-0 this year.
His brother was a stud as a true freshman. Because remember, he was one of the key players that got Corona to the CIF championship game at Dodger Stadium last year. He was a shortstop. He was a pitcher. He's a great player. I mean, the Stanfords, they love the Becks. More Becks.
Always, hey, not enough Beck.
There's not enough Beck in their life. All right, when we come back here, the smooth stylings of Tristan Beck, saxophone player. And the Dodgers lineup. I'm assuming the Dodgers lineup is out, and I'm going to tear that thing apart.
Hey, this is Careless Whisper. What the heck? How do you not know what Careless Whisper is? Okay, wait. Hello? I should have known better than to treat a friend and wasted chance that I've been given.
Is that Lionel Richie?
No! God darn it! No!
I don't know who that is.
George Michael!
How do I know that?
Man.
Big thanks to Tristan Beck. We'll be right back. It's your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM and Smooth Jazz.
Wasted chance that I've been given, so I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I think that's my passion because I've done it. You know, I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. what sets us apart has to be, you know, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and you know, help them reach their athletic potential, you know, help them, you know, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, you know, really what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, you know, in terms of speed, power, you know, strength, agility.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. Just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Today and every day of your life, we're brought to you by Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road, where you can buy, trade, and finance. They make it so easy. And you're going to save thousands of dollars. They've got weekly specials. You're going to keep a lot of that money in your own pocket, but only if you go to Catalano Motors. If you're in the business of wasting your money, just throwing it away, go somewhere else. But if you want to save that money and build yourself a garden or a reading room or maybe a fancy Keurig for your coffee in the morning.
Nope, an espresso.
Or espresso, what else? Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road, where you can buy, trade, and finance. CatalanoCars.com is the website. All right, the Dodgers. Jeff, you know where they're playing tonight, right?
Playing in hell. Where are they playing? I'll tell you where they are. They're playing in Pittsburgh, which is similar to hell if you go there certain times of the year.
Pittsburgh. All right, I got the lineup. My favorite part of the show. This is going to be a nice, short and sweet segment here on the Inland Sports Show, your favorite show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Here's the deal. Here's the lineup. You can't take Muncy out of the lineup. He's hitting.
Chuck Muncy is playing still for the Dodgers.
Between Muncy, Grandal, Kemp, and Peterson, they've actually been hitting pretty well. Bellinger has not been hitting well, and he's been dropped in the order, as you're about to see. Chris Taylor playing shortstop, hitting leadoff again. That's where he belongs. They've been hitting him like sixth. No, Chris Taylor belongs at the top. Batting second, playing third base, Max Muncy. Third, Yasmani Grandal playing catcher. Batting cleanup in left is Matt Kemp, followed by Jock Peterson in center field. So Jock Peterson making his way up the batting order, hitting fifth. Yasiel Puig in right, hitting sixth. Cody Bellinger at first base and hitting seventh. Logan Forsythe, second base, hitting eighth. And Ross Stripling on the mound against the old Buccos in Pittsburgh tonight. You know, there's been conversation that Cody Bellinger's been so bad. Do they bench him? Do they send him to the minors to work on his swing? Like, what do you do with Cody Bellinger because he's not producing? At this point, you might be better off putting, I would say, Max Muncy at first base and maybe in playing, I don't know, maybe Logan Forsythe at third. Yeah, and putting Austin Barnes at second.
Yeah, Cody Bellinger, we were talking about this yesterday, is that they've got to do something. I mean, he's got to find his swing again. He's only batting .225. You know, granted, he's got 8 home runs, but none of the Dodgers are really hitting for power. You know, they're all hovering around 8 or 9. Grandal, Kemp have 9. Muncy has 9. But Cody Bellinger, though, right now needs to find his swing. Got to find something because he is not doing a lot. Only 25 RBIs. He's 48 of 213, 225. Not very good. Something needs to be done with him. Maybe drop down, play a couple games in the minor, get that swing back.
Well, Justin Turner, obviously, is your normal everyday third baseman. Not in the lineup tonight. I just found out why. A little bit of soreness in his left wrist.
Uh-oh!
But he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow, they say. It's being reported. So he's your everyday third baseman. But today, I would have put Muncy. I put Muncy at first. Take out Bellinger, put Muncy at first, and then put, I don't know, Forsythe. Maybe even Kike Hernandez at third. I think he played a little third base too. But Cody Bellinger's been struggling right now. And right now they're trying to hide him at the bottom of the order. So we'll see how that pans out. The Dodgers, though, they've been hot, Jeff. They lead the National League in runs per game and home runs during the last 17 games. They are 13-4. They're playing some pretty good baseball. And all things considered, they're not even healthy. So if you're a Dodgers fan, if you live deep in Colton and you love your Dodger blue, the best is yet to come.
Well, yeah, because you got to figure Puig had a really good last month. He was very, very good. He had 4 home runs in as many games. And then Max Muncy or Chuck Muncy or whatever his name is, he's hitting a home run every 13 and a half at bats. Pretty good power.
I mean, that's why you got to play him. Maybe you take Bellinger out and make Muncy your everyday first baseman right now.
And just think about it. Just a year ago, he was cut by the Oakland A's and was out of baseball. The Dodgers find him, and now look at him. He's a gem, one of those hidden gems that the Dodgers find every single year.
Assuming that JT, Justin Turner, is back, and again, he's having soreness in his wrist, probably the wrist he got broken right in spring training that held him out for so long. Assuming he's fine and good to go, you know, he's your everyday third baseman, but Muncy, he could be your first baseman. And how ironic would it be that if Max Muncy's the hot bat throughout the summer for the Dodgers, that he'd be the guy to replace Cody Bellinger, because Cody Bellinger was the hot bat last summer to replace Adrian Gonzalez. Like, it's almost like coming full circle if Muncy can keep this going. He's had a great start to the season so far, and he's been one of the more consecutive or consistent bats for the Dodgers power-wise. I mean, he's found a place in the middle of the lineup. Max Muncy, Matt Kemp, maybe the best hitter in the National League right now, which is crazy. And, of course, you're going to put JT probably hitting second or third, probably third most of the time. So, I mean, and Yasmani Grandal, that's not a bad heart of the lineup. But, again, the pitching is all banged up. Nobody's healthy. If they can get the band back together and everyone's at full strength, this Dodger team's going to be legit again.
Yeah, they should be. And like I said, Bellinger really started this slump last year in the World Series. Remember, he was rotten in the World Series, and he's kind of continued that. So maybe if he can find his swing, that will even up. I mean, you're getting gems that we're not really accounted for. You got Walker Buehler, a great pitcher, young pitcher. That helps because, the pitching staff is decimated right now. And you have Muncy as a guy that they didn't even count on. So maybe, like you said, a new Cody Bellinger. Bellinger was great last year.
He was, but
absolutely great.
Here's the problem. This time next month, we're in the All-Star break. So how long do you ride this out? How long do you let Cody Bellinger try to find that swing, try to find that magic that he had last summer for the Dodgers? Because they're letting it ride out so far. But if everyone's coming back healthy and JT's fine, Max Muncy might be your everyday guy at first base.
Yeah, and how do you send the Rookie of the Year to the minors?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, they've ridden this out long enough. Like Kobe used to say when the shots weren't falling, just keep shooting. Keep shooting until, so Cody Bellinger, hey, you're not hitting the baseball. Just keep swinging because it will come around. But how long do you let this ride out to find his swing? Is it too late? Is the All-Star break too late? Like, dude, we gave you half a season to kind of work this out. You haven't. We got to go with Muncy.
Yeah, and you think of it this way. He's a young guy. Like I said, Rookie of the Year last year. He might be fragile. This could destroy him. This could give him the yips. This could be, you've got to find a way to deal with Cody Bellinger because he's just such a good baseball player. And the same thing with Jock Peterson. They're the similar kind of guy. They spent a little time last year in the minors, and then it brought up and look at how much better he was.
Yeah. Jock Peterson, again, when Jock Peterson came up, Yasiel Puig came up, Julio Urias, I'm thinking
lightning in a bottle.
Corey Seager. Yeah, like all these guys, huge expectations, a ton of talent. But I don't know, maybe outside of Seager, I don't know if anyone's actually panned out the way the Dodgers were hoping, like glass half full kind of expectation. So we'll keep an eye on the Dodgers. They're in Pittsburgh tonight. Early start there on the East Coast. We'll have some score updates throughout the show. When we come back, we'll talk a little Norco softball with the champs and the head coach, Rick Robinson, here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We're small, family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajelco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
It's Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM, KPWK, Riverside.
How long have you had these droids?
About 3 or 4 seasons.
They're up for sale.
Let me see your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. This segment brought to you by our friends at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You know you need an oil change. Go check them out every 3,000 or 5,000 miles. Get your oil change, a mint to flour, feeling good at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change off of Alessandro Boulevard. Right now, let's go to the Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change Celebrity Hotline, fresh off a CIF Southern Section Championship in Division I. Another one for Rick Robinson. Coach Robinson, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well, not as good as you. I mean, you're the champion again. How good does that feel? Number 5 under your belt, at least at Norco High School.
Yeah, it's 5 at Norco. I have one from Centennial High also.
Do you count that one from Centennial?
Well, why not?
What division was that?
One of my players' moms was on that team.
No kidding.
Sarah Marshall's mom was on that championship team at Centennial.
So when that happens, Coach, do you feel like it comes full circle? Do you feel old? I mean, does it mean anything to you?
Wow.
I feel old.
What division was that?
Division II.
So you have 5 Division I championships at Norco, and let's talk about that championship game from Saturday night down in Irvine against Gar. 8-2 was the final score, and Coach, man, you jumped on Gar early. I think Sierra Marshall had a bases-loaded double. Paige Smith had a grand slam. Everything was going your way quickly. Once you built that big lead, did you feel like, you know what, we've got the pitching, we're going to hold on here? That's more than enough run support in this game.
Oh, it's more than enough run support, but, you know, you never know. You're always kind of concerned that, okay, it's now you're counting outs, and you're hoping nothing happens that, you know, it just, you know, you lose it. And that's really the whole thing. It's, you know, it gets tough because you start counting those outs, and you just want to get done.
Now, this is also a season of redemption as well. We had you guys and some of the players in studio as you went into the playoffs, and we talked about the fact that, you know, last year's team was one of the best ever, and you went all the way to the championship game. You met Los Alamitos, not having lost, and they got you in that championship game. And there was a lot of these players were part of that, and they came back this year, and they were able to get the job done. So in that sense, was it rewarding for you and especially those returning players to finish out the job this season?
Absolutely, because they knew what it felt like to walk off the field your last game of the season and not get the victory. They definitely did not want to do that again, and so that was the whole thing. They had a plan right from the start of the season.
We're talking with Rick Robinson, the head softball coach at Norco High School. The Cougars won the Division I championship over the weekend at Irvine, and now you've got the All-Star game is coming up on Wednesday, right, Coach? How many seniors do you got in that one?
We have 4 in that one. Our 4-year starting seniors, Michaela Ali, Tony Camarillo, Sierra Marshall, and Bianca Gonzalez.
I mean, because really, I know, you mentioned the 4 seniors, but really when you look across the board, you probably feel like you have an entire all-star team, right, at Norco. You probably feel great about all your players.
Oh, I do. I mean, it was one of those rare years. I mean, in most years we have teams that you pick you kind of get your lineup set early in the season and you ride that one lineup. We were changing the lineup throughout the season. All 17 players made starts. And that kind of thing happened throughout the season.
So, Coach, in that championship game against Gar, so you guys go up 8-0 after 2 innings, and you said like you're never settled for, hey, you know what, we're gonna rest on this lead. Like you're always, your head's always in the game. You're always thinking, okay, how can we, add to this, this lead and continue to build on this. But with an 8-0 lead after 2 innings, did you think, man, I thought we were going to have like a pitcher's duel? Like, what happened to that? I mean, were you surprised at how many runs that you were able to score and so early in those first 2 innings?
I was surprised on the amount. I wasn't surprised we scored, but 8 runs. I actually was predicting 4 to 5 runs that we'd score in that game.
And you said you met Gar in one of those tournaments. And you had the lead on them, and they came back on you. Did that cross your mind at all?
They did. Well, we had a 4-2 lead, and we made 2 errors, walked a couple, hit a batter, and gave up 4 runs in an inning and a couple hits in that inning also, and just kind of collapsed. And that's where you're always thinking, what's going to happen? That's why you're never comfortable with the amount of run, with any kind of lead.
Now, Coach, you finish off, you cap off another great season. I'm sure you've got some great players coming up through the ranks. But what do you do next? Do you take some time off with your young ladies, and do you give them a rest? And when do you guys get back into getting after it again?
We'll have a summer tryout in early July. But other than that, we'll kind of watch them play travel, coach travel, and be out there. We'll do a couple things together. We're being presented at the Angel game on the 19th of this month, so that's the next time I'll see them all. And but I've already met with Dave a couple times, and we're already talking about next year's lineup and roster and all those kind of things, what we need to work on. So we're already working on that.
Coach, let me ask you about that Angels game. How did that kind of come together, and what does it all entail? Do you guys actually get to go onto the field and they announce you to the crowd, and what's it all about?
Yeah, we got contacted yesterday. Yes, we're gonna go on the field. You kind of go around the warning track inside, down the foul lines around home plate, in front of the dugouts, and then so you go in from the right field, the old right field bullpen, and go out by the left field bullpen.
Oh, wait, so do you get to cross Mike Trout? I mean, I'd take my time when you're going across where Mike Trout might be. I don't know if he's going to be out in the outfield or in front of the dugout, but I'd want to go see Mike Trout, maybe even get a picture with him.
We go in front of the dugout, and every player mentioned Mike Trout when I told them about it last time.
He's my good friend. I'll see what I can do for you.
He's Jeff's buddy over here. That should be a cool deal. It's been a great season. Obviously, the CIF championship, what it's all about. But now you get to actually have a little fun and celebrate, right? And the Angels game is one of those deals.
It's one of the perks, and it's so few people ever going to go down on the field, and it's going to be one of those, for a lot of the players, the once in a lifetime, moment to be down there and get to see all those players.
And Coach, you mentioned the 4 seniors, so certainly the cupboard is not bare at Norco High School. How excited are you about the returning players that you have, even going into next season? Like you said, I'm sure you're enjoying this championship, but you're already thinking about what the lineup, what the batting order might look like next year at Norco.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the group we talked about, we had our banquet last night, and they're already talking about, doing it again next year. They believe that, they can, get it going and, do it one more time.
Well,
Coach, third straight trip to the finals.
Coach, it's always great talking to you, and we're going to look for you guys in the Angels game. Did you say it was June 19th? Did I have that correct?
June 19th against the Diamondbacks, yes.
Against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So look for the Norco softball team hanging out at the Big A. Hopefully you guys will run into Mike Trout. Maybe Jeff over here can pull some strings and make that happen.
I can.
Can you, Jeff?
He's one of my best friends.
He would have 17 of the best friends of his life if he ever pulled that one off.
We've got some friends over there. If we can make anything come together, we'll let you know, okay?
That would be great. It's always great talking to you.
All right, Coach Robinson from Norco High School. Thanks, Coach.
Nice job, Coach.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. All right, that's Rick Robinson, the head softball coach at Norco High School. That's pretty cool. Because if you win the Division I championship in the Southern section, you're the best.
Honestly,
you're the best.
You're basically, and I was going to say this, but he's a world champion if you think about it, because the best softball in the world is played here in the United States.
It is. And don't get me wrong. I know people will be like, well, there's a good team. I think it's San Marcos or whatever. There's good teams in San Diego. There's good teams in Florida or Texas. There's good team. Come on, give me a break. Not only is it the Southern section, but I didn't even go a step further. The Inland Empire.
Yeah.
King High School, Norco, Rev, JW North. We had teams all over the place. Again, going to the finals.
Well, if you look around, and right now if you go to ESPN, there is a softball game on 24 hours a day, basically, because of the World Series, the Softball World Series. And every team that is in the Elite Eight, Final Four championship, they're always peppered with Inland Empire players. Oklahoma has 4 players from the Inland Empire. Every team right now, who's the young lady that's pitching?
Well, in the College World Series now for softball for Florida State.
Aquinas.
One of their sluggers in the middle of the order is Zoe Cassis, former Aquinas High School star. And then the leadoff hitter for the Washington Huskies is Taylor Van Zee from Hemet High School. So there's two of the most important players in all of the World Series are from San Bernardino and Hemet.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
But you look at every...
And one of them will win a national championship.
Yes, they will. And you just look down the rosters of all these Pac-12 teams, there's always Inland Empire products that come out of here.
We're that good.
Yes, we are.
Hey, speaking of being that good, we're going to talk a little high school football because Jaden Daniels is that good. He's going to the Elite 11 finals. In fact, you could even say he surpassed that because now he's going to the opening. So he's one of the Elite 11 finalists. Now he's going to the opening, which is kind of like the most prestigious high school football camp in the country this summer. So we'll talk a little about that. And, I know some people are going online and saying, man, I can't believe it. A guy from the IE has actually made it as one of the finalists. But he's not. I mean, hey, we're proud of Jaden Daniels, but he's not the first. We've had several guys the last couple of years from the IE also make it. So we'll talk about them because Blake Barnett was one of those guys. And I was looking at some of the names he beat. Some big names. You're not going to believe it. We're talking about Boost Performance Training in Corona with Ray Bass. Lacrosse, golf, tennis, track and field, football. You know they do football. Ray Bass was a star. Now they can do it for you, too. If you want to be the best on your team, a scholarship, a starting spot on varsity, they can help you out. Bigger, faster, stronger. They got a strength and speed class. The first one's always free. Go check it out. BoostTrainingSystems.com. When we come back, a little high school foosball. We'll talk Jaden Daniels, Cajon High School quarterback. Best QB in the galaxy in my book.
Yes,
we'll be
he
back.
is.
It's the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
Well...
are your hosts, Pat Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. This segment's brought to you by our friends at Ken's Sporting Goods. More than 40 years in the Inland Empire. They are a staple. We all grew up on Ken's, and they're still doing it big time for all the local sports teams out there. Maybe you got a local business or a company, you just want some embroidered shirts, company logo on it. They can do that too. Or maybe you're the big-time baller on your campus. You want a Letterman's jacket for all your fancy patches. They can do that too. Ken Sporting Goods. KenSportingGoods.com is the website. Go check it out. We love you, Ken.
Hey, did you notice on that last clip, that was that movie White Girls? Is that what that is? White Chicks? I'll tell you, Terry Crews used to play for the San Diego Chargers. Did you know that?
He did?
Yes. And in the 5 o'clock hour, my man Ghazal Hassan is going to call in, and we're going to talk about the best athletes turning into actors. Because you know our guy Ghazal Hassan is a screenwriter and has a master's in screenwriting from UCLA.
Oh, that's right.
So
He's a film guy.
He is a film guy. Remember, he was a writer for Pauly Shore. I don't know if I'd say that in public, but he was Pauly Shore's writer for a number of years. And we're going to talk about the best athletes that transitioned to becoming actors.
My favorite Pauly Shore movie, Encino Man.
Oh, what a great one.
Classic.
Oh, there's
Classico.
Wasn't he in Biodome, too?
Oh, yeah, I did see Biodome.
Biodome was another great one. Son-in-law. So, yeah, there's been a lot. Oh, in the Army now. We're going to have to go over all the Pauly Shore movies with Ghazal.
Could Ghazal get Pauly Shore to call our show?
I hope so, dude.
Would that be fun?
That'd be awesome.
The Weasel Man.
Wheezing on the juice, man. Wheezing on the juice. Whatever that means. Yes. Ghazal is a wordsmith. Wheezing on the juice, my friend. Wheezing on the juice. Hey, Pep, you're looking pretty peppy. You got a tie on, and you know what you did? You're wearing, for those of you that aren't watching on the YouTube channel.
I'm leaving early. I'm going to leave right now, by the way.
You're not leaving right now. Pep Fernandez is going to host some big dinner, some gala, some gala. And
I'm real fancy.
But you got a nice striped shirt on, and I like how you didn't go horizontal. You went vertical line.
No, I don't want to look fatter.
You look really thin.
No, yeah, so.
The one thing I'm looking at you, and I'm thinking I know I'm
pretty good looking.
No, I was just thinking. Oh. No, I was thinking I'm really better looking than you. That was the first thing I thought
Okay.
of. But the one thing I missed that I envy you is that you still have hair. You have great. You have a pretty thick head of hair. And you can do a lot with it. Do you have gel in there?
I've got options. I got gel.
You put gel in there?
Yeah, I got gel. It's green, it's green stuff.
You know, I think, honestly, we should do one show. We need to get somebody in here to do a makeover with you, like a hair makeover. I want to see, I just want to see you with like spiky hair.
We've talked about this.
And hip.
I haven't had a real haircut 13 years.
Neither have I.
I know, but I cut my own hair.
So do I.
Well, you don't always shave it.
I bick it. But yeah, I honestly want to see you like with one of those like poofy, funny haircuts that all these young hip teenagers have.
The next time I cut my hair, I'll do it live in studio.
No, let's get somebody in
I'm
here.
gonna bring my hair clippers in. I'll do it while we're doing the show.
Hey. I got this hairdresser that used to be my hairdresser. That was a long time ago, but she was smoking hot. I'm telling you, when I used to go sit in that chair and I would look in the mirror and she would be right behind me and she would cut my hair and they would fall out on the floor and I'd cry. Oh my gosh, if I could find her, that would be amazing. I could look at my old hairdresser cutting my best buddy's hair. I think you should do it. I think you ought to go with like the hip, like,
This is hip, isn't it?
No, not at all.
Oh,
not at all.
I thought I had a hip haircut.
No,
already.
I want you to like, the spiky, weird stuff like a.
I can't.
Yeah,
do that.
you're
No.
like an anchorman.
No.
Anchorman hair. You got the big fat tie on, looking all dapper. What are you doing tonight, Pep?
The HS Game Time Awards with the Press Enterprise. Some big award ceremony. We did it last year where they honor all the individual sports. So like boys basketball player of the year, girls volleyball player of the year, football player of the year. Then they have an overall athlete of the year. So I get to go out there and wear a suit and pass out some awards. And
am I going to get an award tonight?
Are you going to get an award?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Were you the boys basketball player of the year?
No.
Were you No, wait, you didn't play your senior year.
No.
What about your junior year?
No, I was first team all league always, of course.
Wait, did the Press Enterprise back when you played? Did they have like all area teams like they do now?
I don't think
because they
so.
do like preseason all area, and then they do All-Area at the end of the season as well.
I don't know. I don't think they did, but I was a Street and Smith All-American. I was a Parade All-American, Parade magazine. I was a Hoop Scoop All-American. I was just Hoop Scoop. You know, I Frank Burleson. I don't know if you know the writer in Long Beach and Los Angeles, the big prep guru. He's not as big as you, but he's a big prep guru. Had me as the best player on the West Coast.
Really?
Yeah, he was a dummy. That's
why Coach K was in your house.
He was a dummy, but yeah, he
was. You fooled him.
Yeah, fooled them all. But no, you look good, Pep. Look great. Like
all right,
$1 million.
So we're talking high school football here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. I know it's summer. It's not real football. There's no pads and helmets. But they do all that 7-on-7 stuff and all these camps. And we've got the big Elite 11 finalists, the 12 quarterbacks that are going on to the opening, which is now in Dallas. It used to be in Oregon at the Nike headquarters. It's in Dallas now.
Explain to me what the opening actually is, because honestly, I'm a novice to all this news fandango stuff.
You know how they do a bunch of these camps around the country. The best of the best get selected to go to the opening. It's like the top high school football players in the entire country, and they all get together for like one camp. And the quarterbacks at this camp, there's only 12. The 12 best in the entire country. They call them the Elite 11, although there's 12.
What?
And they go to the opening, and it's usually at the Nike headquarters in Oregon. This year it's going to be in Dallas at the Dallas Cowboys facilities, their headquarters.
Ooh, big time.
It's called the Star. So we got Jaden Daniels, Cajon High School quarterback. He was Mr. Football here in the Inland Empire on the Inland Sports Show. He was selected as one of the finalists to go to the opening. So the Elite 11, they have their own finalist competition where they bring in the 24 best quarterbacks in the country. Then they narrow it in half, like Thanos snapping his fingers. Half of them are gone.
Disappear.
And only 12 advance to the opening.
Wow.
And Jaden Daniels is going to the opening.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
The only other California quarterback that has reached the opening this year was Ryan Helinski. He's the Orange Lutheran quarterback. That's it. Nobody else in California is going. Jaden Daniels and Ryan Helinski. And this is not one of those, well, if I pay enough money, they'll let me go kind of camps. This is you have to earn it. You have to go to all these other smaller camps and work your way through to be selected, invited to go to the opening. So you can't pay your way in.
No, and I'll say this. I think the biggest question mark is, this upcoming season, you've got some great quarterbacks in the area, but none, like you said, none as star-studded as Jaden Daniels. The question, where is he going to land? Last year we talked about Tanner McKee, and it was up until the last second when we decided to go to Stanford. But where will Jaden Daniels go? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still leaning towards UCLA.
Chip Kelly.
He did. Was it like last week or two? He put out was it the 10 finalists or 8 finalists, something like that? And UCLA was on there, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I believe it was the top ones. I could say was UCLA, Utah,
USC was on there.
USC, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia was on there.
Florida State, Texas A&M.
Man, look at you.
Yeah, I love Jaden Daniels. Remember, I'm his agent. I'm taking him up to the Canadian Football League. We're not even going to play college football.
Jaden versus Johnny Football.
Yeah, and he's going to have his own burger, his own shoe, and we're going to play in the Great White North, and I'm only going to take 25% of his contract. So I'll live pretty wealthy, and he'll be great as a 18-year-old rookie. The Jaden Burger. And whoever gets it, it's the Jaden Burger. It'll have a beet. It'll have a beet on it. It'll be meat, cheese, a beet. A beet. Like a beet. A big round beet. We're going to add something different, Sounds gross. Yeah, we're going to have a beet, and then we're going to have some secret sauce of some sort.
Maybe you should message him right now and be like, hey, Jaden, what's on your ideal burger? Because we got to come up with this.
A beet, man. Beet.
I don't think he's going to say a beet.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever had a beet on your burger?
Yes. In New Zealand, at the McDonald's, they have a beet on their burger.
No.
Yes, that's where I got the idea from. A beet. A big red beet.
That sounds awful.
No, it's wonderful. I don't. You know what? They're weirdos over there. They eat beets on their burgers, for gosh sakes. Hey, you know what they have in Hawaii, though, if you go to Spam burgers are great. No, you go to a McDonald's, they give you a big pineapple slice on their burger.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I love that. I love the Hawaiian burgers.
Yeah, it's very fancy. Avocado. Love it on a burger.
What's this green stuff? Yeah. Very exotic.
Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah.
Dude, everyone eats avocado.
I didn't have it until I was 40.
I was somewhere this morning. They had the big thing's the avocado spread. You put it on toast,
Yes.
or a bagel.
Yeah.
It's real millennial.
Yeah, that is.
Spreading an avocado.
It's just weird. Just
But it's delicious, and it's got the good cholesterol.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Was it the LDL, right?
I've been eating lots of those. I cut them in half, and I take out that seed. I poke my knife into it, and I pull it out, and then I take a spoon, put a little bit of salt on it, and I just scoop
Do you
it
really
out.
just eat it out like that?
Scoop
Don't
it
you put
out.
pepper? Because I'm a Mexican guy.
You are?
Take a tortilla, toast it, get a little crispy and toasty.
Yeah?
Slices of avocado, salt and pepper. Boom. Yum, man.
Just salt.
Yum.
Just salt. And I just eat it right out of the rind.
You would think you'd have enough salt because you're a big salty guy.
I am salty. Yesterday,
You always want more.
Admit, yesterday I was the most salty you've ever seen.
That was our best show ever.
It was not.
Yesterday.
You're crazy. It was the worst.
Like, we're
I
probably
was
going to win.
angry.
We're going to build a new shelf in our studio because we're going to win a bunch of awards from that show yesterday.
Yeah.
DP, you better watch it. We're coming. We're coming for you.
Hey, I was angry yesterday.
Why?
I was ready to fight.
Because you've never had a show that good?
No, I was ready to fight. I wasn't prepared.
Why weren't you prepared?
Because there was too many people in here.
Jeff was easily distracted.
I am a social retard. If you dangle a cat toy in front of me, I'm easily distracted. There was like a lot of teenage boys in here, and they were talking a lot about stuff I didn't care about. So I was not focused.
Jeff got distracted.
I was angry.
Jeff is still battling.
I'm bad. No.
He's
I'm
trying
good.
to get focused.
I'm focused today.
Are you?
Oh, I'm
Are
ready.
you gonna? Well, I'm leaving next segment.
Oh, not next segment. You're leaving at the 5 o'clock hour.
No.
Oh.
The next one's on the phone.
You'll be on the phone. We'll be fine. You're like
You're trying to convince yourself right now. I can tell.
Well, there's no one else in here. It's just Greg and I.
Yeah.
And Greg and I, we're just going to talk about funny stuff for the next hour. We're telling jokes. We're going to talk NBA stuff. We might talk some golf.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. We're still talking high school football.
Okay, let's get back to it.
Because we got Jaden Daniels going to the opening. And last year we had Tanner McKee. Remember, Centennial quarterback?
Love that guy.
He was there at the opening. He was great. And in 2014, not only did Blake Barnett from Santiago go to the opening, he was the MVP.
What?
He was the Elite 11 MVP, the most valuable player at the Elite 11. So in 2014, at the opening, which has the best high school quarterbacks in the country, he was the best. He was the best of the best. We're talking about Blake Barnett, who's now at the University of South Florida. That's how good he was. In fact, at that same opening, he was better than Josh Rosen, formerly of UCLA, now at the Arizona Cardinals, and also Kyler Murray, who is the quarterback now at Oklahoma, and he was just drafted in the first round, 9th overall, by the Oakland A's.
And it's going to make $4 million and be able to play football for one more season. So, wow, he's,
Blake Barnett was better than all those guys.
Now you can kind of see why Blake Barnett kind of gets angry when he doesn't play and has to.
He was the guy.
The man, the dude among dudes.
He was the guy in high school football. Again, he was better than Josh Rosen, better than Kyler Murray. Ricky Town was there. Ricky Town was another big name at the time in terms of quarterbacks. But it's far from a perfect science when you're trying to predict and forecast which of these high school quarterbacks are going to make it big time, right? Because I mean, of all the names that you hear, I mean, of that class, is Josh Rosen maybe the only guy who made it big, who made it to the NFL? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all these guys were 5 stars, and they were going to these big camps, and all these things, and Josh Rosen was the only one that really panned out so far. Now, Kyler Murray is going to be a star, football, baseball, whatever happens. And there's still hope for Blake Barnett. But I'm just saying it's far from accurate when you're trying to forecast which quarterback is a surefire NFL guy. I mean, because they give him these stars, and I don't buy into this nonsense about like, oh, he's a 4-star, 5-star. How many 3 or 4-star guys are better than 5-star guys?
A lot.
You know what I mean? It's not an exact science. And it's hard to predict, but Blake Barnett was the guy. In 2014, he was the best.
We'll see if he can continue to do so and maybe finish out his career down in Florida.
Yeah, so he's the grad transfer. So he actually, Blake Barnett, when he goes to South Florida, will have 2 seasons. He's already done. He's got his bachelor's. I don't know what it's in, but he's done. He's graduated. He's immediately eligible, but he's going to a school, a college that's already entrenched in a quarterback battle.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going there and saying, "Oh, whoa, my gosh, Blake Barnett, you were the MVP of the 2014 opening. Here's the starting job.
Hey, 2014 is a long time ago.
That does sound like a long time ago now.
Holy smokes, by the time he plays, it'll be 2019.
So 2014 would have been the summer before his senior season at Santiago.
You love saying that.
I do.
You're very good at it.
I love it. People say it to me. They'll be like, Santiago. Now you say it. Like, Santiago.
So, yeah, seriously, when you walk around town, do people just yell Santiago?
Everywhere.
They do?
Everywhere.
My wife does. When we're walking around the house, sometimes I'll just hear Santiago really loud.
Santiago.
There it is. Yeah, exactly.
I've had guys from other schools ask me to say it. I'm like, well, you don't go to Santiago, or that's your rival. Oh, can you say it once? So I do it.
You have to.
For the people.
You are the people. You're going to be speaking for the people tonight.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving, Jeff. Here's the deal.
All right.
I'll be by phone for the next segment. We're going to talk a little NFL. Pat's mini camp is underway.
All right.
Chargers have a little mini camp going on. And the Chargers saying they're going to win the Super Bowl.
What?
They saying they can do it.
Wow.
They can do it, man. And then coming up in our final hour, yes, Jeff will be joined by our movie expert, Ghazal Hassan, because there's an NBA basketball player that is going to be in a big-time blockbuster movie. So Jeff and Ghazal are going to unravel the mystery of pro athletes who have been in movies.
You're
right?
darn right. And then we're going to talk about the NBA Finals and his thoughts on LeBron James, where he's going to end up, and what's going to happen with this Golden State Warriors team after this year. A lot of questions.
They'll still be good, right? They'll still be good.
Yeah, but they're going to have to do something to bolster that bench, and they've got to figure out a way to not turn it on and turn it off only in the finals. They got to figure out a way, or else it's going to be a long year next year.
And the latest on the Dodgers, they are going to be underway in Pittsburgh. In fact, they might already be started.
They have started, but there is a rain delay. At the top of the first inning, they got no scoring plays, but yeah, top of the first delayed already.
Que lástima. We'll be back. It's your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
I'm sorry, son, but you must have me confused with someone else. My name is Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot.
You are Kareem. I've seen you play. My dad's got season tickets.
I think you should go back to your seat now, Joey. Right, Clarence?
Oh, he's not bothering anyone. Let him stay here.
All right, but just remember, my name is Roger Murdoch. I'm an airline pilot.
I think you're the greatest, but my dad says you don't work hard enough on defense. And he says that lots of times you don't even run down court. And that you don't really try, except during the playoffs.
The hell I don't. Listen, kid. I've been hearing that crap ever since I was at UCLA. I'm out there busting my buns every night. Tell your old man to drag Walton and Lanier up and down the court for 48 minutes.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
I am just like Roger Murdoch, Lou Alcindor, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I am the best co-pilot in the world, and my pilot, Pep Fernandez, is out and about. He's working the Press Enterprise Awards Night, the High School Game Time Athletes of the Year at California Baptist University tonight. I'm Jeff Gorham. I'm here every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 on Fox Sports AM 1350 here in Riverside, San Bernardino, and across the land on the iHeart app. You can listen to us every single day around the world. We're brought to you by Catalano Motors in Corona. You can buy, trade, finance a new-to-you car or truck. You have high expectations when buying a car? Let Catalano Motors meet and exceed them. Committed to excellence, it's Catalano Motors, located off of Temescal Canyon Road in Corona. We are now joined by my pilot, the guy who flies the 747 every single day here in the IEs, Pep Fernandez. I'm Jeff Gorham. Pep, are you in your car and heading over to the High School Game Time Awards at California Baptist U?
Yeah, you know what? They actually moved it to the Riverside Convention Center this year. It's going to be a pretty good time. We're going to have teams from all the way back from the fall. I know it seems like a long time ago, but you know they're going to celebrate like football and volleyball and all those things. All the top high school athletes in that HS Game Time brand has been around for a long, long time. So the Inland Sports Show and Fox Sports IE, we're proud to team up here with HS Game Time and the Press Enterprise. So I got one of my fancy ties on. I've got a big, you know what I say, Jeff? It's got to have a big knot, and it's got to have nice dimples. If you got a big knot and nice dimples, you're good to go. So that's exactly what I got. I'm going to be smiling, I'm going to be shaking hands, and I'll be passing out awards.
Are you going to be kissing babies?
If there's a baby there, I'll kiss it.
I want a picture. I want to see you kissing babies. But, Pep, okay, I didn't know you guys were it wasn't at Cal Baptist, but, Pep, we've got NFL minicamp has started this week, and our guys, Gronk and Brady, the band is back together. They've got their manager, their Bill Belichick, their leader. What's going on in the Pats minicamp?
Yeah, like any mini camp, you know, it's just good to see the guys get back together. And it's the mandatory ones that matter because, you know, the organized team activities, those are optional. And if a guy doesn't show up, you can't really blame him for that, you know, because a lot of these guys, especially like a Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski, they've been around a long, long time, and they're getting beat up. Their bodies, I mean, they take a beating every single season. So they need that extra time off. But when it's the mandatory mini camps, like what's going down this week, that stuff's important. They have to be there because if they're not there, then that's when there's a problem. So for these guys, you know, to be at the mini camp, it's just a good sign. It's you know, remember what the conversation was when the Super Bowl ended was, you know, I don't know, Tom Brady might not come back, and Rob Gronkowski, he's not happy, and you know, oh, Tom Brady's not going to the OTAs. Well, of course he's not, you guys. Don't click on that. That's clickbait. Don't you dare click on that link. It's fake news. Everything's fine. If they don't report to minicamp, which is mandatory, then you've got a problem. Maybe they're contemplating retirement. Maybe they're holding out for more money. Whatever the case might be, then there's a problem. But, yeah, so, you know, minicamps are going down. I know the Chargers have one. Like, so all these teams are getting back together. So if you've got a guy that's not in minicamp, then there's a problem.
Yeah, you know, there was talk that there was a lot of dissension among Belichick, Gronk, and Brady. But Belichick went on the record today in an interview and said, hey, there's no problems. I get along well with Tom Brady. I get along well with Gronk. I get along well with the team. And it's not my job to get along with them, but we all are in a happy place because we do like to win here, is what he basically said in a nutshell.
Yeah, I don't know about Gronkowski, but I think it's safe to say that, at least with Belichick and Brady, they're there to win. They're not building friendships. They're not BFFs. They're not making these lasting, lifelong relationships where they're going to be hanging out with each other, in their downtime and off-season and retirement. They're there to win. They're there to win Super Bowls, and I think that's why Brady and Belichick work so well, because they're like-minded. They're not there because, oh, this is so fun, let's enjoy the experience, and man, I just love being around you, and I love the camaraderie of being with Coach Belichick in the meeting room. I don't think for at least Brady and Belichick and the Patriots, it's not about that. It's about winning, and they've got that winning formula. So even if they don't get along, which I wouldn't even say they don't get along, I would just say they're not close. They're not tight. They don't have a personal relationship away from football. But that's fine, and obviously it works for them. They're the best.
And really, do you really need to get along right now at the tail end of everybody's career, really? Belichick, I'm sure, is winding down his career as a legendary coach, and Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback and player to ever live. But the AFC East is pretty weak, and they should be able to walk out of that, even with dissension or guys unhappy. They play, the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. That's what you got to look forward to if you're in the AFC East, if you're the New England Patriots. I think all is well in Patriot land over in New England.
Yeah, you know what? It's nothing new. So any storyline that you're reading now, this is probably the same situation 12 years ago. The relationship between Belichick and Brady, and that the Patriots are a very, blue-collar, workman-like approach to football. Again, they're not coming together because, what do they call them, the Hampton Five? Like, they're all friends, right? And for the NBA, like, they all want to come together. They're all friends. They vacation together. They all want to play on the same team together because they're all tight. This is the exact opposite. These guys say, you know what? We don't have to be friends. I'll go into retirement, and I don't know if I'll even talk to you maybe outside of, like, once a year when we get to team reunions. But outside of that, we're not going to be tight, and that's okay because we're here to win Super Bowls. And I think that's why it works, because Brady and Belichick both have that same approach. They're not texting each other late at night. Hey, did you see the new Avengers movie? They show up, they go to work, and they win.
And you said, hey, winning Super Bowls is real big. And I'll tell you what, out here in Southern California, the defensive end for the Los Angeles Chargers, Melvin Ingram, is a part of this growing chorus of NFL observers who are pointing out that the Chargers are going to be contenders. And he didn't mince words, did he? He said that they were going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and when I hear something like that, I like to put it into context. So if this is like right before the season opener, oh man, don't say that right before the season. Bullseye in your back, or maybe it's you make the playoffs and you're just going into the playoffs for that first round game, and you're saying, oh yeah, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We should be a favorite. But we're in the month of June. We're talking about mini camp, and I love it. I love that attitude because what's he supposed to say? Maybe the reporter set him up and said, hey, based on how you finished last season, do you feel like the Chargers are a Super Bowl contender? And what's he going to come out and say? No, I think we're probably going to miss the playoffs. No, of course you can be like, yeah, we finished pretty strong. We got some talent. I think we're a Super Bowl contender. It's June. It's mini camp. I want him to say those things. But if this was like right before the playoffs or the season opener, I might be like, maybe tone it down a little bit.
Well, we have a soundbite here from Melvin Ingram, the defensive end for the Chargers, and here we're going to listen to it. We'll get right back with you, Pep.
This Super Bowl we're going to win, to be real. And we ain't been to the playoffs in a while. I think it's going to be crazy, man.
No,
this
one
Super Bowl
second.
we're going to win going to be, hey, We ready. We grinding. Nah, we just going to keep grinding. We're going to grind no matter what. And that's what our main objective goal is, to win a Super Bowl. Is to win a Super Bowl. Keep fighting, keep playing, keep grinding no matter what. And that's the goal. We got to bring a Super Bowl to the city.
Do you think talking about it, though, puts added pressure?
Nah, it ain't added pressure.
All right, Pep, we heard there from Melvin Ingram talking about the AFC East being the weakest of the conferences in the NFL. We go over to the AFC West. The AFC West is loaded, Pep. And for him to say that, he's got to have some confidence because Kansas City is on the rise. The Oakland Raiders are much better. You're going to see that this year. And the Denver Broncos, a very tough conference for him to say that and to really make that bold statement that they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think at least on paper, as of right now, I would put the AFC West in maybe the toughest division in football right now, because I think there's a lot of good teams, and they're young too, so they're going to be good for a while. So, again, this is on paper. We haven't seen anything yet. We're talking about new additions. We're talking about young guys, rookies joining teams. But I would say as of right now, the AFC West, it's going to be a real battle, and I think it's going to be maybe the most competitive in football.
Yeah, and especially out here out west, the NFC is another conference. Right there, you have the Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers, and Seahawks, all with great quarterbacks, all with great coaches. So the NFC and the AFC West, I think, I look at it on paper, the two best in the division, and I tell you what, it's going to be a fun year this year, a fun ride for both the Chargers and the Rams.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great season for LA football. Hopefully the Rams can ride that momentum, and that these new additions, these new big stars, at least for the Rams, don't shake things up too drastically, I guess you would say. And for the Chargers, just build on the way you finished last year. And obviously guys are confident. A lot of those guys are back, like Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, who, they'll put those two guys together, probably the best bookends on the defensive line that you're going to find around. So, and Phillip Rivers, I mean, there's no let up in him. Phillip Rivers is still Phillip Rivers. So, and Keenan Allen, he's going to come back healthy. Melvin Gordon has proven that he is a starting running back in the NFL. If you're a Chargers fan or a Rams fan, you've got to feel great. Plus, maybe outside of Aaron Donald, everyone's at OTAs. Aaron Donald, obviously, probably the best player in the NFL, holding out for more money, and I get it. And he's going to be training and doing his own thing on the side, but he's not going to be at these mini camps because he feels he deserves that big money, and he does. But he's still in that rookie contract. He's not making a ton of money. I think he's probably making maybe like $6.5 million a year right now. But he wants to be paid like the best player in football on the defensive side.
Well, and the Chargers really have added to that defensive front. Last year they were the worst run defense in the league, and they've added their first 4 picks this year were to really stop the run, and especially against the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have owned the Chargers the last few years on the run. So maybe the Chargers, if they can fix that, that will shore up that defensive line.
Yeah, I think so. Again, there's a lot of areas that look promising for both teams. And going back to that original soundbite from Melvin Ingram, of course he's going to say that. On paper, the Chargers look great. Anthony Lynn really came on strong at the end of last season like they all did. And at this time of the year, it's June, it's mini camp. Go ahead, say those outlandish things because he might be right.
Yeah, and the thing is, they do have, you look at them on paper, you got Phillip Rivers threw for over 4,500 yards last year. You got Melvin Gordon, a great back. Keenan Allen. They've got some guys, Virgil Green, Phillip Rivers, and the biggest question is the loss of Hunter Henry. What are they going to do? Do they bring in Antonio Gates? Antonio Gates could be that guy to help them.
Yeah, they definitely need a tight end. And, Jeff, I think you definitely need to hit a break right here.
Yes, we do. Hey, Pep, will you enjoy your time at the convention center of the High School Game Time Awards show? Make sure you say hello to everybody and bring back my award.
Well, you're getting the best guy of all time award.
The best dude ever. So remember that, Pep. You have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock on the Endless Sports Show.
Back.
All right, that's Pep Fernandez. I'm Jeff Gorham. We will be right back after these messages on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports, 1350 AM.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
What are you up to?
Buying Pepsi, collecting codes, getting stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Grills, concerts.
welcome Bobby Boucher. Come on, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. Larry Taylor.
Tell me, what is your secret? How do you find yourself in the right position all the time?
That's a good question. What happens is the center has the ball first, and quarterback will say hike. That's when the center puts the ball into the hands of the quarterback. So what I'll do is I'll start tackling the quarterback unless he get the ball to somebody else, in which case I'll try to tackle that person.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
I am free falling, my friend. I am here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM every single day, 3 to 6 p.m. with my boy, Pep Fernandez. Pep is not here, but I am joined right now on the spoiled quick quality oil change celebrity hotline. He is the voice of the UC Riverside Highlanders. He's the voice of Cal State Northridge Matadors. And my co-host on Riverside TV football game of the week, he is the legendary Ghazal Hassan. How you doing today, buddy?
Unta Gunta GZ. How are you, Jeff? I had to greet you in Huttese today.
I'll tell you what. Hey, always great to talk to you, Ghazal. I know today you went and saw Solo, the Star Wars story.
And you're doing a show solo.
I am doing the show solo, but it's always nice to have Greg Holla here and one of my dearest friends, you, Ghazal. Ghazal, what were your thoughts on Solo? Because I absolutely loved it.
It was all right.
Greg.
It was all right.
Tell me what.
You know what? I was shocked at all the bad reviews. Like most people that I knew, kind of panned it. You know, aside from yourself, they kind of panned it.
It was
and
all
actually, it's interestingly enough, I kind of avoided the Inland Sports Show for a little bit because I didn't want any spoilers. And you know what? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done.
Hey, Ghazal.
So I enjoyed it.
Ghazal, it was all right.
See, Greg Holla is part of the masses. See, he's a millennial, though. Greg is a millennial. So, so he's...
I like The Last Jedi better than...
Man.
I love The Last Jedi.
He loved The Last Jedi.
Yes, it was such a...
But I will say this, was I'm going to give a spoiler here. It's already been out and everybody's panning the movie, but how cool is it when the hologram of Darth Maul makes an appearance? Did the hair on your arm stand up?
All my hair stood up. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was great to see them bring back Darth Maul. I loved it. Loved it.
Was it me, or did it look like he gained a couple pounds, Darth Maul? Like he looked like he was eating good.
Hey, well, you got to figure he's only feeding half a body. He got sliced in half. He has no legs. So when he eats, he's going to bulk him up because there's nothing he's going to but his belly and his head.
Okay, so what is the logic of him coming back? How did he come back?
He came back. He fell into this pit of despair. And in the cartoon, they brought him back. They gave him mechanical legs. He was on another island or another planet, and he got himself better.
So did the Emperor Palpatine? Did he bring him back? Or
the Emperor and
I think what it was. I think there's a bunch. Like they cloned. You know how they cloned Jango Fett? I think he's the spawn of the clone. Because if you look in the credits, it was Maul. It wasn't Darth Maul. So maybe it was a clone of the warrior, of the Sith warrior.
Well, being that I'm a nerd that I am, I've read all the books, and the deal is that he fell out of like with the Emperor, so he is just Maul. Because remember, there's always two. So when he came back, he confronted the Emperor, and the Emperor said, "I have no need for you. I already have an apprentice, and a new apprentice." So now he becomes a gangster of Red Dawn, I believe it was called. They called it in Solo. Was it Red Dawn?
Wolverines. Yeah,
yes,
something like that.
So, yes, they brought him back. But, we were talking. You have a master's in screenwriting from UCLA. You've worked with some great guys. We always talk on the show. You worked with Pauly Shore. You've worked with a few. Now, what was your time? What was it like working with Pauly Shore?
It was great. He's, real life persona is very different from his on-screen persona. Professional, very supportive. Very loyal guy. He has to remember he grew up in the business, and he saw a lot of his mom, who just passed away recently, ran the Comedy Store.
Yeah, Mitzi.
And as you know, she launched. I mean, everybody who you watch in comedy right now, Leno, Letterman, Pryor. Well, Pryor's dead, obviously, but Jim Carrey. They all were launched out of the Comedy Store, and so he grew up with Letterman staying at his house. Robin Williams would crash on their couch, so he knew everybody. He had connections with everybody, but he was great. I have no complaints. I mean, he was a great guy to work with. He always paid you on time. He always took care of you. You working a holiday, and you're a little bummed out because you're working a holiday, but he's like, all right, we're going to go to dinner, and you figure it's going to be something like, Panda Express or Fat Burger, and he takes you out to a steak sushi joint, and drops $100 on dinner because you worked hard and you worked a good day. So, yeah, it was good. I mean, sadly, we didn't accomplish a lot of what we set out to do. A couple of TV shows, a couple of movies we were trying to get going, didn't get going. But overall, the experience, I can't say anything bad about it.
Oh, good. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. We were talking about this acting. We were talking earlier in the show. We had Kareem on Airplane. We were talking about the best athletes that converted to become actors. Maybe it was just a one-time gig, but a lot of guys, a lot of mainstream actors were at one-time athletes. And our guy, Boban Marjanovic, the 7'3" center from the L.A. Clippers, I don't know if you know this, but he is going to be featured in the next John Wick film in the franchise with Keanu Reeves.
I did read that. What is it about centers? You had not only did Kareem play on Airplane, but he did a Bruce Lee movie. How awesome is that to do a Bruce Lee movie? And then you remember Wilt, the late Wilt Chamberlain, did the Conan movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
And then if we want to go a little further, Jeffrey, to the Bad Boy Pistons, Bill Laimbeer, who grew up in Rolling Hills, his father was, I think, a film executive. He played a slee stack in Land of the Lost when he was a high school kid.
That's right. He was a slee stack. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize this. They always think of Bill Laimbeer as being like this a blue collar guy. He grew up a white collar kid. He was a wealthy guy. A lot like another wealthy guy that grew up in the spotlight and is still a very good actor is Mark Harmon. Remember, he was the quarterback at UCLA. His mother was a wonderful, beautiful woman. I don't know. And look at him. He is a superstar. Has the #1 show in America, an NCIS. But a lot of people don't know that he was a great quarterback at UCLA.
He was. He was a quarterback at UCLA in the 70s, right? That was under Dick Vermeil, I think.
Yeah. But there's a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of big names. Dr. J was an actor. I remember, I think he was was it The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
Right. And then, on that same vibe, talking about UCLA, how about Michael Warren? He was on Hill Street Blues. Everybody knows him from Hill Street Blues, but did a movie called Fast Break.
Great movie.
Harold Sylvester, Bernard King, and a UCR alum, Mavis Washington, who was an All-American in basketball and women's volleyball. She played Swish in that movie. You know who was a consultant on that movie?
I don't.
Jim Herrick.
Jim Herrick. The coach
right.
now longtime UCLA coach, is now an assistant at Cal State Northridge, where you are the voice of the Matadors. But yeah, Mavis Washington. For those of you that don't know this, you go back and watch the film. She was also a teacher at Rubidoux High School. So as a young boy, I got to know her, and it was right after the movie came out that I saw her. She was playing pickup games at UC Riverside, and I'm like, I think I know who that is. So I went up and talked to her. She gave me an autograph. I still have it somewhere at my parents' house. But yeah, Mavis Washington, a local legend here.
So is she a Rubidoux graduate?
No, she ended up here and ended up getting her credential, ended up coaching basketball for a short time. I believe that she went into Parks and Recreation here locally. I'm not too sure. She's probably retired by now, but there has been, I was just going through some of the names, a couple guys that stood out that were really, really good actors. Jim Brown was another very good actor. Probably the best running back of all time, maybe outside of Walter Payton is Jim Brown. A very good actor, wouldn't you say?
Jim Brown quit the NFL. He was in a contract dispute, and he quit the NFL to go do movies. He went to Hollywood to go do movies, and he did a movie with Raquel Welch, did a movie with Pam Grier. We can't talk about him anymore, but, O.J. Simpson, for a time, was a pretty good actor as well. I mean, not a good actor, but he had a pretty good career as well. He did that First and 10 series. He did, obviously, the Naked Gun movies. He did a couple of action flicks. So O.J. had a pretty good acting career as well.
Yeah, and there's guys like, you wouldn't know this, but Jason Statham was an Olympic diver at one point. I don't know if you knew that. And you've got guys like Chuck Norris, who's was a world champion karate expert. Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones was a great soccer player that a lot of people don't realize that some of these foreign guys that came over here, they were great soccer players.
What about Roddy Piper? He was in They Live.
Oh, do you remember that?
Roderick Toombs. Yeah, Roderick Toombs. Yeah. I heard the story. A friend of mine used to co-host a podcast with Piper, and his name was Roderick Toombs. This was his given name, and he was given the name by a ring announcer. It was early days of wrestling, and they needed a name for him, and he walked into the ring under some other name, and the ring announcer didn't like the name he had given him and doffed him Roddy Piper.
Ah, pretty cool stuff. I'm just going to go through another couple. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. A lot of people just know him as a wrestler, but he was a great college football player at the University of Miami.
I believe he was a linebacker, mate.
Yep.
He played at the U. And there's a great story that he was in a couple of NFL camps and got cut. And then he went up to Canada to try to play, and they cut him in Canada too. And he tells a story about he was really depressed. He was sitting at his parents' house, and I think it was the Calgary Stampeders that cut him. And they called him to come back in camp. They're like, hey, we know we cut you. So-and-so got hurt. We want you back in camp. And he said at that point he made the decision, I'm not going back to football. I'm going to find something else to do. And it seems to have worked out for the guy. He's doing okay.
Yeah, and there's another couple guys we'll mention before we get to break here. A lot of people don't know. Remember, they call me Earl. Remember Jason Lee. Jason Lee was a world-class skateboarder. A lot of people didn't know that he was a phenomenal skateboarder before he became an actor. Somebody saw him and said, has a pretty good personality, never acted before, and he gets a great TV show, lasted a long time.
Hyman Beach. He was buddies with Kevin Smith. They were buddies because of comic books. And I had friends. He was a Hyman Beach guy. My friends who grew up in Irvine would skateboard with him, and they said the one characteristic about him was Jason Lee was 15 and already had a full beard. So that was the one thing they said. He was the guy. They didn't know him by name. They knew him as, he's that 15-year-old kid with a full beard.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he still has that cool mustache. It makes him look like a 70s porn star, but the best mustache in the business.
Okay, I got a movie quiz for you two.
Okay, go ahead, throw it at us.
What was the name of Hulk Hogan's character in Rocky 3?
Thunderlips.
There
we go.
Yeah. Come on. Come on, Greg. Come on. Since we're doing UCR, I got to point out a couple of guys from UC Riverside who've become actors. Stephen Bishop, who played baseball for UCR shortly after Troy Percival left, he played David Justin Moneyball, and his career has really taken off. He was in the Friday Night Lights. He was in a couple movies with Dwayne Johnson, and he's doing a big TV series now. And then Taylor Bills, who also pitched for the Highlanders. He's a good-looking guy. He plays bit parts. He'll play some parts in baseball movies here and there. So they're still pumping him out from UC Riverside.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Riverside's had a lot of guys. A lot of big-time actors have come out of Riverside. What's the guy's name? There's a guy, Bill Cobb is another Riverside. He's a big-time became an actor in his late 50s. But Bill Cobb is a very award-winning actor out of Riverside, California. I knew him. He was one of my drinking buddies in my early 20s. So that's funny.
I worked with a coach named Bill Kernan. He was a head coach for many years at Cal State Northridge for baseball, and then later he was at CSU Bakersfield. He came up in the Thornton system. He worked with Augie Garrido. He left. They had the earthquake in the 90s at CSUN, and they didn't know if they were going to bring sports back. So Bill actually left, and he went to New York and went to grad school at NYU and became a playwright. And what he told me about it was that it's a natural progression from athletes to actors, because what do you do as an athlete? You prepare and you perform, and actors prepare and perform. And all he said was, actors are a little more emotional, touchy-feely, but it's pretty much the same thing, coaching actors and coaching players and directing actors.
Oh, that's so true. I agree. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you my number one all-time favorite athlete turned actor, and if you can think of one yourself, but I'm gonna give you mine. And a lot of people don't realize this, but my all-time favorite actor is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'll tell you what. A lot of people say, "Oh, he was just no, he was the best bodybuilder of all time." He and Lou Ferrigno, another actor, was the Hulk. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is my number one all-time favorite athlete turned actor. Who's yours? Do you have anyone on your list?
Yes, the great Ken Howard, the late Ken Howard, who played Coach Reeves in the White Shadow and did a lot of other stuff. He was really well accomplished. You know, he's a stage actor at Broadway and all that stuff. He was a high school and college basketball player, and then he was 6'6". Later went on to fame as an actor for many years.
And also
Kenny Howard.
Yeah, Ken Howard was also the president of the Screen Actors Guild, if I recall.
For many years,
Yeah.
He was indeed. Yes,
Many years.
yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gazal, if you could stay on the line here, we'd love to talk about the NBA Finals. We got a lot more to talk about on the Inland Sports Show. Are you willing to hang around for another segment?
I will come back and we'll talk about LeBron James.
LeBron James. Well, this is the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350. We will be right back to talk NBA Finals and LeBron James.
I just wanted to say that I'm a nerd. And I'm here tonight to stand up for the rights of other nerds.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
You talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
Your shot at a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival now. Text the keyword jackpot to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply. That's jackpot to 200-200.
LA Dodgers baseball heard in the IE on Fox Sports 1350 and News Talk 1440. Brought to you by Ballard Rehabilitation Hospital, offering physical rehab to patients suffering from a disabling illness or injury. Our goal is your complete recovery.
We created iHeartRadio so you can put us in your pocket and take us everywhere you go. Your favorite station, music, podcasts, and more for free wherever you go. You can stream our station on your phone, laptop, and on over 200 other devices. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio.
There's a common thread I see every time I'm in the field.
While this was burning, you were saving other homes.
Neighbors helping neighbors and strangers alike.
This is what America's about.
Sometimes it's nice to see all the good that's out there.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Cucamonga Quakes.
Doesn't it look like I am ready? I am always ready. I have been ready since first call. I am ready. Roll.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
It is the Inland Sports Show here on Fox Sports 1350 AM. I'm Jeff Gorham, and we are brought to you by Ken's Sporting Goods. More than 40 years in the business, Ken's Sporting Goods is the best sporting goods store. They will get all of your sporting gear needs, plus Letterman's jackets. If you want a nice blinged out jacket, if you want to have your name on the back, go to kensportinggoods.com. Well, we are joined again by the voice of the Northridge Matadors, the UC Riverside Highlanders, and Riverside TV football game of the week. Ghazal Hassan, welcome back, my friend.
Always good to be with you, Jeffrey, and I miss Pep, so hopefully he's doing okay wherever he's at.
Yeah, he's covering the high school game time awards banquet tonight at the Riverside Convention Center. You know, he is Mr. MC. He's been doing this forever. Anytime anyone needs an MC for anything. Remember, he was the lighting ceremony guy at the Mission Inn for the oh, yeah. He's all over the place. He and Jenny Phillips have hosted. Pep does it all. He hosts that IEMG show. He's the Regis Philbin of the Inland Empire.
Regis. Although he's a little taller than Regis, but I'll get that there. I'll go with you there.
Yeah, he's like, I think I called Ryan Seacrest last week. I called him Ryan Seagrass. I forgot who he was, but yeah, he's kind of a mixture between Ryan Seacrest and Regis Philbin.
Because you're definitely the Hank Kingsley of the Inland Empire.
Hey now, I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, Ghazal, we are right now in the middle of the World Championship, the NBA Finals. The Golden State Warriors right now up 2-0. What are your first impressions of this series so far?
First of all, I hope Natalie is having a fun time rooting for LeBron James. That first game, you're a coach, Jeff. You were a player. That first game of the series, that is a heartbreaker. Those are the kinds of games that break your heart. You have Cleveland. They go in as heavy underdogs. They go in and they play their hearts out in game one. And they can't. Then how many times have we seen this? When you got a team on their home floor and you're ready to beat them, you got to close it out because you may not get another chance. And they weren't able to close it out. And that call was probably a pretty bad call. But there are other opportunities for the Cavaliers to close, and you need that alpha dog to close it out. I think LeBron did everything he possibly could. He needed somebody else to make one play, and it just didn't happen. And it just shows you what the margin for error is in those types of games, Jeff.
Yeah, LeBron James goes for 51 in that first game. And the inconsistency of, his role guys. Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith had probably, I think we discussed it, Pep and I, as one of the four biggest sports blunders in history. He kind of Bill Bucknered the entire game there. Not knowing the score, LeBron James gives it everything. You watch that game, and I'm sure you did, and most of America did. LeBron James plays as hard as he can. They throw the first punch. That punch goes unaffected just because J.R. Smith grabs a rebound and dribbles it out, and the rest is history. They lose by 10. What were your thoughts when you saw J.R. Smith do that?
J.R. being, I was really shocked. But Jeff, we've seen this before. Remember Magic dribbling out the clock, not knowing what's going on? It's chaotic there. And it's interesting, and from a broadcasting standpoint, I always, I joke, but it's true. If you're a broadcaster, you really need to be dialed in. You need to know the situation, because although you're not playing, you're explaining it to people. And it's not always easy to know everything. It's very chaotic. Those arenas are very loud. But if you're J.R. Smith, whether it's fair or not is not for me to judge, but as you and I know, the way NBA is now, all the guys make so much money. It's not really about money anymore, but you are judged by championships. So when you make an error like that at that high a game, that important a game, that stays with you. If you ask Chris Webber about that, he'll tell you all about it. So we've seen some classic ones over the years. I think that's right up there with, Magic dribbling out the clock. Derek Harper did it once. The timeout from Chris Webber. maybe the Bill Buckner play. It's right up there with all those plays. I agree with you, Jeffrey.
Yeah, and then game 2, Golden State comes out, and they're Golden State, wouldn't you say? I mean, they looked – I mean, everybody was on point, but, hey, how good is Steph Curry? How good is that guy? You know, he missed 31 games of the year, and I think a lot of people think, you know what, Steph Curry's out, and they look at Durant as being the leader, but I think truly the real leader of that team is Steph Curry. I mean, he was phenomenal in game 2.
Steph's a great shooter, great player. You know, the guy I've gained a lot of respect for over this run by Golden State is Klay Thompson. And Klay Thompson is just a competitor. He's a stone-cold assassin. And you remember when we were kids, Jeff, how when you were a Laker fan, so like me, you probably hated the Celtics. And It was like Larry Bird, not only did they win, but Larry Bird, with a couple of notable exceptions, pretty much made every big shot for the Celtics during that stretch between about 83 and 87 where they were going to championships every year. And, Thompson is very similar. You know, there are times when Durant and Curry haven't played well, and he always bails his team out. And he's a really good, and even I do this, he's a much better defensive player than he gets credit for as well. So, yeah, I mean, Curry's great. You know, KD, obviously. You know, Draymond plays great. But I think he's the glue of that team in everything. He's like the glue of that team. He can hit a big shot. He can go out and defend somebody. He keeps the flow going. He keeps the mojo going for that team. And I think his defense is especially key in this series, Jeff, because Iguodala's not available.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is Iguodala will be playing in Game 3 in Cleveland tomorrow night. What are your thoughts on the rest of it? Because we're going up against a commercial here, but what are your thoughts on the rest of the series? Do you think there's a sweep involved, or do you think that Cleveland can steal one the next 2 games?
You know, they're down 2-0, but I think it's far from over. Really, I think it makes it easier for the Cavs, Jeff, because all they need to do now is worry about Game 3. Get Game 3, then you worry about the rest of it after that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm with you on that. I think Cleveland will steal 1, maybe 2, and it's going to come back to Golden State. I think the series is not over. I think a lot of people are counting the Cavaliers out, and LeBron James is out as well, they think. But Gasol, as always, greatly appreciated. We love your knowledge of everything, movies, sports, leisure. You are a man of cosmopolitan means, and I love you, buddy. Everybody in the IE cares about you. And can't wait for the football to start on Friday nights in the fall.
New nickname for him. Thunder
We
Lips.
need to do a show. We need to do a show one day, Jeff, with nothing about sports. We'll just do everything else. But it's always fun to be on with you. I love hearing from Greg and the great Pep Fernandez. Thank you, guys. It's always fun to be on the show with you guys.
He is the voice, once again, of the Cal State Northridge Matadors, your UC Riverside Highlanders, and the Riverside TV Football Game of the Week. Gasol Hassan, thank you very much, buddy. That is Gasol. We will be right back on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
That art contest, I won it. $500 in prizes.
That's great, mijo. And with the baby coming and everything, the money will come in
In
handy.
art lessons.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
This is the Pepsi that gets you stuff, like an acoustic guitar or even tickets to Dierks Bentley.
Drink Pepsi, get stuff.
You said it, Dierks. Pepsi Stuff Rewards Program subject to official rules at PepsiStuff.com. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. All rewards subject to availability and may have limited quantities while supplies last.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
There's a common thread I see every time I'm in the field.
While this was burning, you were saving other homes.
Neighbors helping neighbors, and strangers alike.
No official first responders here, just volunteers going in and bringing folks out.
This is what America's about.
Sometimes it's nice to see all the good that's out there.
We have seen it in community after community after community.
Watch NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, evenings on NBC.
Papo. I know that I, Jefe, do not have your superior intellect and education. But could it be that once again, you are angry at something else and are looking to take it out on me?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Well, we just had Gonzalez on talking athletes to actors, NBA Finals, and he also said how awesome I am at everything. So, Gonzalez on, thanks for calling in as always. We are always here every single day on Fox Sports 1350. We are the Inland Sports Show. I'm Jeff Gorham. He's Pep Fernandez. And we are brought to you by Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Coach Ray Bass and his team of experts bring passion, experience, and commitment to grooming great athletes. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. Remember, that first strength and speed class is always free when you mention me, the Big Jeezy. Well, we are now joined on the Boost Performance Celebrity Hotline. He is my co-host, my darling buddy, my cohort, Pep Fernandez. Pep, how you doing? Where are you? What's going on?
Hey, guys. In fact, I just confirmed it. I'm going to go out to Boost, I believe, next Wednesday morning. We got Ray Bass and some more coaching tips, which if you haven't seen them, go to our YouTube channel and check them out, especially if you're a younger athlete or going into high school, because he really gives you some great tips on how to get stronger, get faster, lower your 40 time, all those things, and you can get a leg up on everyone. Just go to our YouTube channel, watch his training tips, and we're going to do a lot more come next Wednesday. We'll get some new fresh ones out there for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm off next Wednesday, Pep, in the morning. I have summer break. I will be there in my spandex shorts, and I will be doing some Boost training tips with Ray Bass because I am an excellent athlete, and I'm a perfect physical specimen.
Yeah, you know what? You'd look great. And what are I think they call them the morph suit. You know what a morph suit is? It's like a full-body, skin-tight suit. Google morph suit. M-O-R-P-H, morph suit. Like, they're very popular at those, like, Halloween stores and party stores. But they're like those skin-tight, full body. I mean, you'll as the comedian Kevin James once put it, you'll look like a big sack of avocados. I mean, everything's just hanging out.
Whoa.
Try a morph suit.
I'm looking right now at the morph suit. I think I look pretty good because I've got muscles, I've got bulges in all the right places. I'm going to go out and buy myself a morph suit, and we're going to have to go to I'm going to do my training tips wearing that morph suit.
That would be unbelievable. You know what? That might be our most viewed Boost training tip if you do that. Can we do that? Like, would you do that?
You're darn right I do it. I have nothing to fear. Look at this body. It's awesome. Hey, Pep, we have an update right now. Did you know the Doyers are playing right now? And guess what?
What?
They are. Let's see if they're still in the lead. And yes, they are. The Dodgers have a 3-0 lead over the Pirates, middle of the third. And our guy we talked about earlier today, Jock Peterson, homered to right field, a 2 RBIs. Sean Kemp. Matt Kemp scored, and then Kemp hit a sacrifice fly to left, and Taylor scored, which leads them to 3-0 over the Pirates. So the Doyers are looking good here in the middle of the third.
Yeah, you know what? I thought Cody Bellinger would be that guy to kind of turn a corner and get things going this season. But who knows? Maybe it's going to be Jock Peterson. He had a really good series in Colorado over the weekend. But, again, a lot of guys have really good series in Colorado because that ball flies so well at Coors Field. But Jock Peterson really had a good series. Maybe it's kind of cliche-ish, but maybe kind of built some confidence, some momentum in him because, for baseball, a lot, and, this goes, for a lot of different sports and different positions, but a lot of the time it's between the ears. It's like a mental thing. I know hockey goalkeepers go through this. Baseball closers go through this. If you just go up to the plate and you're putting in some good swings, you're hitting some homers, you're getting on base, you feel like $1 million. You feel like King Midas when you go to the plate because everything you hit's turning to gold. So hopefully Jock Peterson's turning a corner. Maybe it's not going to be Bellinger. Maybe it's going to be Jock Peterson that's going to turn that corner and be that extra bat in the Dodgers lineup. Because if Jock Peterson's hitting, you've got JT, you've got Yasmani Grandal, and you've got Matt Kemp. That's not too bad right there if they're all hitting.
And you remember Jock Peterson last year Remember, he had troubles. They dropped him down, and then he was brought back up. When they added the rosters in the playoffs, he had a great playoff for the Dodgers. So, like you said, maybe he is turning it around.
Yeah, I hope so. Again, there was a handful of Dodgers that kind of all came up through the system around the same time. I'm talking about the Jock Petersons, the Corey Seagers, Austin Barnes, another guy that came up. And there was so much hype around him that when they finally brought him up, I think some people had to temper their expectations a little bit. But he's a great player. He just kind of hit a little bit of a skid last season, towards the end of last season, and maybe it's something similar that we're watching Cody Bellinger do right now with the Dodgers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bellinger is still a great hitter, but baseball is such a streaky sport that maybe he's just whatever it might be, a brain fart, maybe it's approach, maybe he's putting it's so technical, Jeff. Like where they put, where are you holding the bat? Are your hands going through the strike zone fast enough? They break it down so small. So if Cody Bellinger is struggling, you've got to bet that the Dodgers and their hitting coach, they're breaking that down. They're going to find whatever is lacking or missing or maybe not up to par, and they're going to try to fix that on Cody Bellinger. But like we mentioned at the top of the show, how long do you ride this out and try to fix it until you finally say, you know what? Cody, we're going to bring you off the bench, or we're going to send you to the minors so you can work on those things and get more at-bats down there. So it won't directly affect the big league club. We'll have Muncy play first, or even Kike Hernandez or Chase Utley could play some first base. They've got some options.
Yes, they do. Hey, speaking of all-stars, we have the IEBCA, the Inland Empire Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Game, June 8th, this Friday, from the what is this actual stadium that the 66ers play? Is there a certain name?
San Manuel Stadium.
San Manuel Stadium. We're Kono and I are going to have the call. Pep will be there running the show. But Pep, we're going to let you go because we are up against the time. But have fun at the high school game time awards banquet tonight. Get my award, and we will see you tomorrow bright and early here on the Inland Sports Show. I love you more than life itself.
Sounds good, brothers. I'll see you both tomorrow.
He is Pep Fernandez, and we are the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We'll be right back.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 13. sports leader in the Inland Empire. Fox Sports IE 1350.
This is Mike Linscock, the voice of your Rancho Cucamonga Quakes baseball team, proud affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Thanks for listening to Fox Sports, home of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes.
We are Fox Sports!
From the Cold Star Ice Studios, it's Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, KPWK, Riverside.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
It has been a great show here on a Tuesday. We were joined by Tristan Beck, a great pitcher from Stanford, and recently drafted in the 4th round by the Atlanta Braves. And also Rick Robinson, the head coach of the CIF champion Norco Cougars, joined us as well. And our buddy Gonzalez on, the voice of everything, talked movies and hoops. And we will be back tomorrow on the Inland Sports Show. But tonight, before you go to bed, make sure you listen to our Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, as they are going to be on at 6:20 pregame as they play the Lancaster Jethawks. Mike Linscock will have the call at 6:20 pregame. Well, we are brought to you by the greatest car dealership in the world. That is Catalano Motors in Corona. Buy, trade, finance a new-to-you car, truck, or van. You have high expectations when buying a car? Make sure you go to Catalano Motors, where they meet and exceed those everything. They are committed to excellence. It's Catalano Motors, located off of Temesco Canyon Road in Corona. If you'd like to sponsor an Inland Sports Show broadcast, send us an email at inlandsportshow@gmail.com. Also, you can also follow us on YouTube. Make sure you click that subscribe button on the Inland_Sports Show on YouTube. Well, that will do it. He's Greg Holla. Pep Fernandez is out doing his thing, and I'm Jeff Gorham. We are here every single day, 3 to 6 p.m. here on Fox Sports 1350 IE. We are the Inland Sports Show. See you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Good night, everyone. Mwah!
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland